Hi, I'm Tim Carbery from CastleHill Managed Risk Solutions. I'm joined today by Susanne Choate, one of our principals, and we're going to talk about a concept at CastleHill that we call the Business Hub. And the Business Hub is a logical construct. It's something which we bring to any of our customers, but it's something that's really important if you want to get the most out of your GRC solution. So, Susanne, you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi, I'm Susanne Choate. I'm a principal with CastleHill Managed Risk Solutions, and I work mostly with the business process work and the strategy work.
So when we go through the Business Hub concept, one of the key areas that we like to focus on for customers is really the whole description of their company and how that company breaks out. What are some of the key things that you see as important to that describing the company?
Yeah, when you think about your company, first thing you want to think about is your objectives. Like, what are you trying to do as a company? Who's your customer? And how do you service that customer, right? So that's really the highest level. And from there, you can understand, okay, well, what processes do I implement to service that customer? And underneath those processes, what's my organization? How's it structured? And what products am I really delivering?
And each of those have a place within Archer. So in the enterprise use case, so all of those things can go in and then they become very deeply intertwined and related. How do we use that information beyond that?
We use that information to establish sort of a common language. You can think about if a lot of times, especially very big companies, have different languages in different business units. And it's hard up front. It is hard to figure out how to come up with standard information. But when you talk the same language and you really agree on the simplest things, like how many ratings am I going to have in an evaluation, right? What is it going to be called? Once you speak a common language, everything else becomes so much easier. The reporting, the visibility and transparency across the organization, because now everything makes sense with each other and you can relate things.
So when you're scoring risks and doing things of that sort, so
Yeah.
that's a key part of it as well, right? When you're scoring a risk and you say, okay, I have my cyber risk and I have my business process risk or some of those things, how does the Business Hub help to normalize that information?
So first of all, we're all rating things the same way and using the same questionnaire and thinking about risk in a similar way. We're all looking at also a common set of issues. So if I have an issue that affects multiple risks, both risks are able to see that issue and absorb it and rate it. And we're all, if we have a control, it's rated and we're able to use that control the same way. So it's really a common language. And the Business Hub itself underneath it, if I'm evaluating risk, we're looking at the business structure the same way. We're looking at products the same way. So I can say this risk is associated with these products, these vendors, and this organization. And someone coming into a boardroom isn't going to come in with something that's different.
So a key part of it, yeah. The
Yeah.
Business Hub, that's one of the, I guess it's a great defense. We haven't called that out, right? At the end of the day, it's a great defense against walking into the boardroom with two completely sets of data,
Yep.
different sets of data for the same information that you're trying to actually
Yeah.
expose.
And it's interesting because I think people think that I should be putting in risk management. So let me focus on the risk assessment. Let me focus on the issue management. And really the hard part, and they think it's the easy part. They always think it's the easy part, is that hierarchy and setting up products. And once you agree upon that, which seems so simple, but it's really not, it makes the rest of it much easier. Then you can have risk management, issue management, and add on policy management. And everybody's already working with the same foundational information.
So how do we avoid the analysis paralysis to get the Business Hub elements in?
Yes. Well, the beauty of these GRC tools is they're very iterative, right? So what we like to do is you're almost building out a huge sculpture, right? So you start to build out the base and maybe there's a little outline that you haven't quite got to, and that's okay. But you need enough of a base to start building up. So I can maybe start with my hierarchy, right? Or start with my products. Maybe I don't have my asset library figured out yet. That's okay. But I can start with a risk taxonomy and a process taxonomy. So the idea is that you want to start to agree on things, but really start in the areas where you can get more general agreement first.
When the Business Hub is fully fleshed out and people are in a maintenance mode, what does that really give them from a reporting perspective, from a consistency perspective?
Well, first of all, we typically have product owners over those Business Hub items, which I think strikes people a little strange because they think of it more as over a vertical like risk management. But having someone own the business hierarchy or own the product hierarchy really is a key to success because that drives consistent reporting across the whole organization, consistent risk assessment. When we're working off the same structure, we're able to just plug in additional things and expand very easily.
You made a great analogy to a sculpture before, and how the whole, the business hub is really rising up and helping to support the structure overall and support the sculpture. So, how do we make the art gallery? How do we have multiple, sculptures, so that when we're actually able to do the reporting, go into the boardroom, how is it all helping? How's it all hanging together?
The beauty of the business hub is that you've established that consistent language and that consistent base. So anytime you do reporting, no matter what reporting you do, it's all consistent, right? And it's all tied to the same thing. So if I do a risk assessment and then I have an issue or then I have a policy, I'm able to look at it across it and draw conclusions across that information. So if I really want to understand what risk exposure I have in an organization, if I have a business hub, I can look across all of these elements and understand my exposure in exceptions, in issues, through loss events, right? If you don't have a common language or a business hub, you're not able to do that. You can try and do it, but it's like piecing together blocks that don't actually fit together. They're just sitting next to each other and they don't look the same. So you really need to establish that common language to be able to draw those conclusions about really your overall risk exposure.
Thank you, Susanne. That was really insightful commentary, really insightful concepts, and I really love the analogy that you used about the sculpture. So thank you, everybody, for joining us, and please visit us at castlehillrisk.com or at the booth.